YouTube, it's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, a lot of people are asking and questioning and speculating that undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence "Bud" Crawford. 38 wins, no losses, no draws, 29 big wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, stands at 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford is coming off of the biggest victory in his career, biggest namesake victory in his career, when he defeated two-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter via 10th round stoppage. Shawn Porter's father, trainer, and manager, Kenny Porter, he saw enough after getting dropped twice in the 10th round, and he threw in and waved the white towel. So with that said, that's the biggest win of Terence Crawford's career at the welterweight division. We know he's accomplished. He's already become undisputed at junior welterweight. And so with that said, the question is, Terence Crawford could not secure the big fights in his career, and it was largely in due part to him signing with legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum and ESPN, in which Terence Crawford was just unable to secure the biggest fights because Bob Arum simply wasn't willing to put up the big money for Terence Crawford to have the big fights. Bob Arum, he stated that Terence Crawford simply wasn't a big draw, okay? He stated that Terence Crawford, he lost so much money on Terence Crawford, he could build a mansion in Beverly Hills from scratch. That's how he viewed Terence Crawford's drawing power, okay? And they never saw that they could get a return on their investment. They never saw that it was worth making these big fights and paying big name opponents to face off against Terence Crawford, simply because they didn't feel like they could get their money back, okay? And so with that said, after his fight with Shawn Porter, Terence Crawford was on the podium with Bob Arum, in which Terence Crawford, he stated to Bob Arum, "You couldn't sign me, you couldn't get me the big fight," which is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently as it stands between Terence Crawford and undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Earl the True Spence Jr., who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. That Errol Spence, 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age. He stands at 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Okay, that makes for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing in the welterweight division. And Terence Crawford, he let Bob Arum know, and he let the fans know, and he let the boxing pundits know in the media. Well, Bob Arum couldn't secure the Errol Spence fight when I was with Bob Arum. How's he going to secure the Errol Spence fight when I'm not with Bob Arum? Okay. And he said, I'm moving on with my career, and I wish everybody well in their endeavors moving forward, okay? Which was a clear indication that Terence Crawford was parting ways with top-ranked ESPN and Bob Arum, okay? And so with that said, then the speculation started to run rampant. What's Terence Crawford going to do? Who's he going to fight? Who's he going to sign with? Okay, what's the next move? Because he's 34 years of age, he'll be 35 in September. So everybody's questioning, what's Terence Crawford's next move going to be? Okay, Terence Crawford is a guy many deem at this point in time in his career, he's starting to get hit more than he normally did. But Terence Crawford, I believe he's purposely in that position because he's turned into a puncher boxer more so than a boxer puncher, okay? He likes to sit in the pocket, he likes to mix it up. And so with that said, you know, Terence Crawford is getting touched more, but a lot of people are testing that to age, okay? Slippage, okay? Vulnerability. So, you know, what's the next move? There was reports that Terence Crawford was going to sign with MTK Global as an advisory team, somewhat of what PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman represents for PBC fighters such as Errol Spence, Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, so on and such. Okay, now we know that Terence Crawford, he stated that he's ready to get back in the ring as quick as possible, okay? When former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman mentioned that he would love to fight Terence Crawford, but he stated 8 months, Terence Crawford. He stated, why we got to wait 8 months? Why we can't do it sooner than 8 months? So he let it be known, Terence Crawford, that he's ready to get back in the ring as soon as possible. Okay, and then there was a top-ranked event where at Madison Square Garden where two-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, he was back in action December 11th, and he took on Richard Comey, former IBF lightweight champion, and he defeated Richard Comey. But nonetheless, at that event, it was an all-top rank event, and Terence Crawford was in attendance. And Terence Crawford seemed to be buddied up with top rank execs. He was talking to Bob Arum. Terence Crawford, obviously, he's been with Top Rank for years. So Terence Crawford, he has a lot of relationships over there. But there started to be a lot of speculation that, Terence Crawford, could possibly be re-signing with Top Rank, ESPN, and Bob Arum. Okay, fight by fight, because of the relationships and because of the other fighters that signed with Top Rank, okay, that made Terence Crawford feel like he's obligated. So it's Terence Crawford, because a lot of fighters, they sign with Top Rank. They have a close relationship with Terence Crawford. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, Steve Nelson, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of relationships with Terence Crawford and Top Rank. So there's a lot of guys that have relationships with Terence Crawford, but they also have ties with Top Rank and ESPN and Bob Arum because of Terence Crawford. So a lot of people feel like Terence Crawford was buddied up with a lot of Top Rank executives, and maybe missing being over there, and maybe looking to actually re-sign. Okay. Bob Arum, when I asked Bob Arum, he stated that they wanted to do a fight-by-fight basis fight with Terence Crawford. They didn't want to completely cut ties, but if he wanted to sign with somebody else, he's more than welcome to do so. And at the same time, they stated that, Bob Arum stated that, he would love to do a fight-by-fight basis with Terence Crawford, because he believed that's what Terence Crawford should have did from the beginning. When you get to the status of Terence Crawford. Oddly enough, Bob Arum said that Terence Crawford should do fight-by-fight basis. He said that most fighters should do fight-by-fight basis. One fight, one and done. Keep doing one and done. So is it possible that Terence Crawford, for his next fight, will be doing a one and done? Because Terence Crawford right now is sitting on the shelf. He doesn't have an opponent. Everybody is tied up. Errol Spence is going to be facing Yordenis Ugas in a unification bout. Sean Porter is retired. He already beat him. Danny Garcia is moving up to 54. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is going in a different direction. He's fighting McKinson in February. So everybody's tied up, okay? But with that said, there's a big fight that, could be looming on the loom, on the verge of taking place, and that's undefeated, undisputed junior welterweight, British superstar boxer, Josh Taylor, who has a fight coming up with Jack Cottrell February 26th, and then he could be looking to step back in the ring as soon as possible, but that would make him not available to July, right? But there's speculation that Terence Crawford could do a one-fight deal to fight Josh Taylor. Now, Terence Crawford, he's on the record stating that he has no interest in fighting Josh Taylor until Josh Taylor, oddly enough, makes a name for himself at welterweight. Okay, he don't want to fight any junior welterweights. Now, there's also speculation that he could wait till July to face off against Keith Thurman. Now, Keith Thurman, he has his comeback fight February 5th, and then Keith Thurman is looking to face off against Terence Crawford. He said that he's more than willing to fight Terence Crawford in July. He's felt like Terence Crawford showing a lot of vulnerabilities against Sean Porter, a guy that Keith Thurman beat as well. He didn't stop Sean Porter. He didn't knock him out. And Keith Thurman said that was impressive that he got a stoppage over Sean Porter, but he's no boogeyman. Keith Thurman, 29 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 wins by way of knockout. 33 years of age, 5'7" with a 69-inch arm reach, okay? He'll be facing Mario Barrios, former junior welterweight WBA regular champion, Mexican star boxer, February 5th. So with that said, Keith Thurman will be available in July. So it's not necessary for Terence Crawford to face off against Josh Taylor unless, Josh Taylor can make himself the mandatory for Terence Crawford. Because he's the WBO champion, okay? And the WBO, that's the way they operate. If you move up and weight, they'll make you the instant mandatory challenger for whoever holds the WBA title at the next weight class that you're looking to participate in. So with that said, Josh Taylor can make himself the mandatory, and then it'll go to purse bid, so on and so forth. And Terence Crawford is going to have to maneuver around that, or he could wait for Keith Thurman. So Josh Taylor's fighting 3 weeks after Keith Thurman. So Terence Crawford is going to have an opponent, one or the other, but Josh Taylor's with Top Rank in ESPN. So we know that Bob Arum stated that that's the fight he wanted to make. But I don't see Terence Crawford maybe doing a one-fight deal or one-off deal with Top Rank to fight Josh Taylor. But I think that at this point in time in Terence Crawford's career, Terence Crawford would much rather, stay a free agent, move how he so chooses. And I think that the fight with Keith Thurman is more lucrative. It's a fight that he's been seeking for quite some time. He stated at one point in time Keith Thurman was the man to beat, and he wants to fight and beat Keith Thurman. To be the man to beat, you got to beat the man. He always viewed Keith Thurman as that man. So this is another check off the list for Terence Crawford to fight and beat Keith Thurman, opposed to fighting. Josh Taylor's young. He could always fight Josh Taylor in the future, but fight Keith Thurman, beat Keith Thurman. And then you're on your way to a mega massive showdown with Errol Spence for undisputed. Should Errol Spence beat Yordenis Ugas in February, March area time as well. So I don't think that Terence Crawford is going to re-sign with Top Rank to answer everybody's question. I believe Terence Crawford is going to stay a free agent, and he's going to look to make the fight happen with Keith Thurman. So that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down. You know what I mean?